New Zealand's Great Walks are the ultimate hiker's paradise, multi-day trails that take you through glaciers, rainforests, volcanoes, and coastlines. But here's the problem. Most travelers plan them by Googling one hike at a time, stitching together blogs, forums, and half answers. I've hiked 5 of these tracks, and knowing what I know now, I wanted to create one clear guide for explorers like you that actually explains how the whole system works. So I'm breaking it all down, the full list of walks, the hut system, the booking rush, the difference between the trails, and how to choose the great walk that's right for you. You ready? Let's go. Think of the Great Walks as the ultimate highlight reel of the country. Each one is built to showcase a different slice of landscape that makes New Zealand unlike anywhere else in the world, and there are 11 of them scattered throughout the country. 3 up north, 8 down south. And unless you've got months to spend here, you'll probably have to pick one island to focus on. So let's start with the North Island. This is where the Great Walks feel alive under your feet. You're walking across the backbone of volcanoes, through steaming vents or ancient forests, and even trading your boots for a paddle. The Tongariro Northern Circuit is the star. At 27 miles over 3 to 4 days, it loops you through the volcanic heart of the island. You pass emerald lakes, old lava flows, and craters that still feel hot with energy. Now, most travelers only do the Alpine Crossing day hike, but the full circuit takes you deeper, and that's where you really feel Tongariro. The 𝗦𝗂𝗬𝗓𝗏 track, 28 miles, 3 to 4 days, loops around a huge remote lake through some of the oldest rainforests in the country. It doesn't see the same traffic as Tongariro, and that's what makes it feel raw, like you stumbled upon this little secret. Then there's the Whanganui journey, and this deserves a hidden gem alert. It blows people's minds because it's not even a walk. It's a 90-mile river journey, usually 5 days in a canoe, winding through deep gorges and dense bush with nothing but water and birdsong. At night, you're camping along the riverbanks under skies that feel endless. This is the North Island. Fiery, cultural, accessible. You're close to cities like Auckland and Rotorua, but the landscapes flip fast. It's multi-day adventures without the heavier logistics you'll face at lower altitudes. That leads us to the South Island, where the Great Walks throw you straight into the deep end. 8 of them stretch across this island, and together they're a crash course in every landscape New Zealand can throw at you. The Milford track is the headliner, 33 miles over 4 days through Fiordland National Park, known as the greatest walk in the world. You cross swing bridges, climb to the top of McKinnon Pass at 3,400 feet, and descend into valleys carved by glaciers. And just off the track, a detour takes you to Sutherland Falls. At 1,900 feet, this is the tallest waterfall in New Zealand. Right next door, the Routeburn track is shorter, 20 miles over 2 to 3 days, but it is filled with alpine terrain. The ridgeline section is pure drama, gorgeous mountain lakes, razorback cliffs, and views stretching from the snow-capped Southern Alps to the Tasman Sea. The Kepler track loops 37 miles over 3 to 4 days, and it's Fiordland at full variety. You'll hike a lake shore that feels endless, climb straight up to Luxmore Hut with views of Lake Te Anau, then follow exposed ridgelines where the wind can literally knock you sideways. It's a mix of alpine, wetlands, and beech forest, like 3 great walks stitched into one. The Abel Tasman coast track couldn't be any more different. It's 31 miles at the very top of the South Island, famous for golden sand and turquoise bays. The trail meanders along beaches, across estuaries, and through lush coastal forest. The best part? You don't even have to do the whole thing. Water taxis drop you in or pick you up wherever you want, making it the most customizable of all the great walks. I'd highly recommend kayaking along part of this one because if you're lucky, you might come across a friendly seal colony along one of the tiny islands dotted along the coastline. The 𝗏𝗏 track is the longest of the great walks at nearly 49 miles, usually done in 4 to 6 days. You climb through high forest to 𝗘𝗫𝗍𝗍 Saddle, cross the open tussock plains of the Gowland Downs, and then drop all the way to the wild west coast. The finale here is unforgettable. You're walking under groves of 𝗦𝗘𝗍𝗶𝗀 palms with the roar of the Tasman Sea beside you. It's the only great walk where alpine and subtropical coastline collide on the same trail. The Paparoa track is 34 miles, 2 to 3 days, crossing alpine plateaus and dropping into karst limestone country. What sets it apart is that it was purpose-built as a shared trail for hikers and bikers. It makes it more social, more modern, and a totally different vibe from the classic tracks. Then there's the Rakiua track on Stewart Island, 20 miles, 2 to 3 days. Hidden gem alert, this is the quietest of all the great walks and one of the best places to see kiwi birds in the wild. The huts are small, the coastline's rugged, and at night you hear kiwi calls right from the bush. It feels untouched, like you've stepped back into old New Zealand. The 𝗬𝗫𝗍𝗃𝗃 track is New Zealand's newest great walk, a 37-mile loop usually done in 3 days that blends coastline, alpine ridge, and forest. You'll start at sea level, meander along beaches, climb into high ridge lines above 𝗬𝗘𝗍𝗃𝗧, cross historic viaducts towards Port Craig, and then drop back down to finish near the ocean. It has the bonus of being relatively quiet still, so you'll feel like you've stumbled upon another hidden gem. The South Island lineup is bigger, wilder, and demands more planning, but if you're ready for it, the payoff is massive. If you're new to New Zealand hiking, the single biggest thing you need to understand is the hut system. On every great walk, the DOC huts are the backbone of every track. Picture a big bunkhouse in the middle of nowhere. Rows of mattresses, a shared kitchen with gas stoves, long tables where everyone crams in to cook noodles or sip tea, and huge windows looking out at valleys, lakes, or glaciers. You bring your own food and sleeping bag, and then you share the space with hikers from all over the world. If you want the classic Great Walk experience, this is the way to go. But on a couple of tracks like the Milford and Routeburn, you've got another option, the guided lodge tracks. Think proper beds and bedding, hot showers, hearty meals, and even a glass of wine at the end of the day. It's hut to hut, but with comfort baked in. That's the ultimate hikes experience. Same trails, 2 very different styles of adventure. Here's the part that catches first-timers off guard. You can't just show up to a great walk and hope for a bed. Bookings open once a year on the Department of Conservation website, usually in late spring for the following summer season. Also important to note here, New Zealand's summer is winter in the Northern Hemisphere. Now the system itself is simple. Pick your track, select your dates, pay, and that booking confirmation becomes your golden ticket onto the trail. But the real challenge is timing. If you're aiming to go in the peak summer months, December, January, and February, you need to be online the second bookings go live because the spots fill up fast. But I've got a pro tip for you. Look at the shoulder season. Late November and March often have fewer crowds, better hut availability, and more stable weather. You'll still need to book, but you're not fighting the same stampede of demand. If you're traveling all the way to New Zealand, the question becomes, how many can you realistically fit into one trip? When I first planned my great walks, I strung them together as part of a bigger journey, working my way down the country north to south. That meant hiking more than 100 miles of trail. It was unforgettable, but it also took weeks. If you've got 10 days or less, aim for one great walk and build the rest of your trip around it. The logistics alone, booking huts, getting to trailheads, recovering, means one track is plenty. If you've got a couple of weeks, you can fit 2 or maybe 3 great walks in, especially if you focus on the South Island because they're clustered closer together. You can base yourself around Queenstown or Te Anau and tick off 2 or 3 tracks like the Milford and Routeburn back to back in one trip without constantly repacking and flying. If you've got a month or longer, that's when you can start thinking about a bigger sweep of the country, linking North Island volcanoes with South Island fjords and tasting the full range of what New Zealand has to offer. The Great Walks are a rite of passage in New Zealand, and if you're serious about planning, I've got full breakdowns of walks like the Milford, Routeburn, along with packing guides and mistakes to avoid waiting right here for you. Just click here to watch. I'm your host, Jen Ahana. Adventure starts where the crowds end. I'll see you out there.